Welcome to Sportpen.
Great to be diving in.
Get ready because we're diving into a sports story for the ages, the improbable journey of the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team.
Yeah, this one's legendary.
Forget just a game. We're talking about how a bunch of young guys, college kids mostly, pulled off something so unexpected, it's still kind of jaw-dropping decades later.
Absolutely.
We'll trace the pivotal moments, that relentless drive, and, the sheer audacity of their game-changing performances that really cemented their legendary status.
Exactly. This wasn't just about winning. It was about rewriting the script. We're looking at what happens when a team just defies all logic and etches itself into sporting history.
Right.
It makes you wonder, what truly defines greatness? And how do those iconic moments actually reshape how we think about sports itself?
Okay, so picture this. 1980, the Soviet Union's hockey team wasn't just dominant. They were an institution.
Oh, completely. Unstoppable, people thought.
Think about it. 5 straight Olympic gold medals leading up to Lake Placid. That's a dynasty with a capital D and then some.
Yeah, they were just winning. They were, often making it look easy. Crushing teams.
And let's not forget the aura around their goalie, Vladislav Tretiak.
Mm-hmm.
For many, he wasn't just the best goalie of his era, but possibly the best ever.
Right. That presence in net alone had to be a serious mental hurdle for any opponent stepping onto the ice. Huge intimidation factor.
Plus, their amateur status was a bit of a wink and a nod, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, these were guys whose sole focus was hockey, essentially full-time athletes, part of the Red Army system.
Right, so you have this seemingly invincible force, this machine, and then you have the American team, seeded 7th out of 12 teams.
7th. That's underdog status with flashing neon lights right there.
Exactly. Expectations were, let's just say Vegas wasn't exactly betting the house on a U.S. gold medal.
Not even close. They were seen as, just a collection of college players facing this highly disciplined, professionalized machine.
But even in those earlier matches against teams like Sweden and West Germany, you saw glimpses of something, didn't you?
You did. There was a spark. They'd fall behind, sometimes by a couple of goals, but they wouldn't fold. They kept battering back.
That refusal to quit early on, maybe that hinted at the resilience that would become, their hallmark.
I think so. It
Yeah.
showed they had character, even if the odds seemed stacked against them.
And against this backdrop, you have individual players stepping into the spotlight. Take Jim Craig in goal.
What a performance.
36 saves against the Soviet Union in that game. That's not just a good night. That's a performance that gets its own chapter in the history books.
Totally. And his journey was pretty remarkable, too. A national championship with Boston University just 2 years prior, in '78. Then drafted by the Atlanta Flames.
Talk about a meteoric rise.
And what's interesting is how Coach Brooks seemed to recognize both Craig's immense talent and maybe a certain confidence, some might say cockiness, that needed to be channeled correctly for the team. It's a fascinating example of how a great coach manages individual personalities, to create a cohesive unit.
Yeah, getting the ego in check for the team's sake. Then there's Mike Ruzioni, the captain.
Captain America, basically.
This guy who scored the goal, the one that put the U.S. ahead against the Soviets, just iconic.
Unforgettable.
But what struck me is that he seemed to feel like that was it for him, the ultimate hockey achievement. He didn't go on to a long NHL career.
No, he didn't.
It's almost as if he intuitively knew he'd reached the absolute pinnacle right there in Lake Placid.
It really makes you think about what drives an athlete, doesn't it? For Ruzioni, that Olympic gold, achieved with that specific group against those odds, it seemed to be the ultimate fulfillment.
Yeah.
His later move into TV analysis kept him connected to the game, but like you said, maybe on his own terms after reaching that peak.
And we can't forget Mark Johnson, crucial player.
Absolutely pivotal.
He not only scored once, but twice against the Soviets, including that huge equalizer goal in the third period.
That goal was massive. Tied it up, changed everything.
And he went on to have a solid NHL career, no doubt, but his continued impact on hockey as a hugely successful women's coach at Wisconsin.
Phenomenal coaching record there.
Racking up national championships, even an Olympic silver medal as a coach. It just shows how that 80 team's legacy branched out in really interesting, unexpected ways.
Absolutely. This wasn't a one-and-done story for these guys. They went on to influence the sport in so many different capacities.
Look at the cone headline Buzz Schneider, who'd also played in the '76 Olympics.
Right, the veteran.
Now works in commercial real estate, completely different field. Mark Pavlich, sadly no longer with us, passed away in 2024, but a really gifted player who had his moments in the NHL too.
Yeah, faced some tough challenges later on. And John Harrington, the third member of that line.
Each of them has a unique story that unfolded after Lake Placid.
It's true. Dave Silk, another Boston University guy alongside Craig and Eruzione.
Part of that BU contingent.
Yeah, he had his time in the NHL, then circled back to coach at BU for a bit before transitioning into finance.
Eric Strobel, too. He was part of the 79 World Championship team, drafted by the Sabres, but then a career-ending injury in 1980 right after the Olympics.
Such tough luck. But he still found a way to give back, volunteering as a youth hockey coach.
And Bob Suter, known for his physical play and penalty minutes back at Wisconsin.
Yep, tough defenseman.
Drafted by the Kings, but never actually played in the NHL. But his son, Ryan Suter, is a major player today, an alternate captain for the Minnesota Wild for a long time.
That's a great connection. And they even named a rink after Bob after he passed away in 2014. A real family connection to hockey's lineage there.
Yeah, really touching. And Mark Wells, who played with Ken Morrow back at Bowling Green, he didn't play in the NHL either, and faced some serious health issues later in life before his recent passing in May 2024.
It's compelling, isn't it? The sheer diversity of paths they took after that shared extraordinary experience. Some had long pro careers, others pursued entirely different fields, faced challenges, yet that bond forged in 1980 clearly remained. And as you mentioned earlier, the recurring theme of those come-from-behind victories.
Yeah, that's key.
It just speaks volumes about their mental fortitude as a team. They never quit.
No, you absolutely cannot talk about this team without diving into the mind of the coach, Herb Brooks.
The architect.
Demanding is probably an understatement. Those Irby's drills, we're talking about grueling skating sessions designed purely to push them beyond their physical and mental limits.
The legendary toughness. But clearly, there was a method to what some might have seen as, well, maybe madness at the time.
What Brooks did so brilliantly, I think, was to fuse different hockey philosophies.
Yeah.
He didn't just rely on the traditional, maybe more straightforward North American style.
No, he was innovative.
Yeah.
He deliberately incorporated elements of the more puck possession-focused, fluid European game. That emphasis on speed, puck control, and a more weaving style was crucial, especially for competing on the larger international ice surface.
And the psychological aspect, just legendary.
Oh, yeah. Master manipulator in the best sense.
That infamous bag skate after the tie against Norway in an exhibition game. Just skating them into the ground. Talk about sending a message.
Brutal. But it hammered home the point that mediocrity wasn't acceptable. Not for this team, not with this goal.
And then that pregame speech before facing the Soviets. This moment is yours. Simple, powerful. You can practically feel the intensity just hearing about it.
That speech and his consistent message that the Soviets were human just like them, it was all about dismantling that aura of invincibility, wasn't it?
Totally.
They were facing a team that seemed untouchable, larger than life. And Brooks' genius was in making the impossible feel, well, maybe just a little bit possible. He gave them that belief.
And his coaching resume before the Olympics was pretty impressive, too. 3 NCAA championships with the University of Minnesota.
Right. He wasn't some unknown. He had a proven track record of building winning programs. That's not just luck, that's skill.
And his coaching career didn't end in Lake Placid either. He continued in the NHL, coached other Olympic teams, even led the 2002 U.S. team to another Olympic medal, a silver this time.
Full circle, almost. It's so fitting that the arena where it all happened in Lake Placid now bears his name, the Herb Brooks Arena.
A perfect tribute. And his posthumous Hall of Fame induction just solidifies his place as a true visionary in the sport.
Thinking about leadership, Brooks really embodied some key principles, didn't he? He had a clear vision, held them to incredibly high standards, but crucially, he also instilled this deep belief in their potential, even when maybe they doubted themselves.
Yeah, he pushed them hard, but he made them believe.
His impact resonates far beyond just that one tournament. It's about preparation, mindset, innovation.
And then comes that game, February 22nd, 1980, USA versus the seemingly untouchable Soviet Union.
A big one.
This wasn't just a hockey game anymore, was it? The whole world stage felt particularly tense back then. The Cold War context.
Oh, absolutely. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan was recent. The Iran hostage crisis was ongoing. That global context definitely amplified the significance. It wasn't just sports.
Right. That game became more than a sporting event. It tapped into this broader narrative of national pride, resilience, maybe even ideology, during a pretty uncertain period internationally.
He really did carry that weight.
And then the unbelievable happens. The U.S. actually takes the lead late in the third period. But let's not gloss over the shock earlier. The Soviets pulling Vladislav Tretiak after the first period.
Still debated today.
That decision is still talked about endlessly. What was the thinking there? Pulling arguably the best goalie in the world.
It remains one of hockey's great mysteries, honestly. Maybe trying to shake things up. Maybe a reaction to the late goal the U.S. scored at the end of the first. It undoubtedly gave the American team a psychological lift. Maybe planted a seed of doubt for the Soviets. But the precise reasons behind that coaching decision? Still a point of speculation.
Wild. And the soundtrack to this miracle? Al Michaels' commentary? That line, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes. It's instantly recognizable, forever intertwined with that moment.
Goosebumps. Still gives you goosebumps.
And it undeniably propelled his already successful broadcasting career into, legendary status.
Absolutely. That call wasn't just describing the play. It captured the collective gasp, the disbelief, and then the absolute explosion of elation felt across the entire nation. It became the emotional anchor of that whole event.
And the fact that the U.S. had to hang on so tightly in those final 10 minutes.
The longest 10 minutes in hockey.
With Jim Craig just standing tall, making save after save, just added to the unbelievable drama.
He was immense in those final moments, under incredible pressure.
The final buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the images of just pure, unadulterated joy and disbelief in the U.S. locker room. It's still incredibly powerful to witness, even just seeing the clips.
Pure emotion. Unforgettable scenes.
But even amidst that incredible elation, there was apparently a remarkable display of sportsmanship from the Soviet players and coaches, acknowledging the U.S. victory despite the magnitude of their own defeat.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it, about the spirit of competition, even in such a stunning upset. It shows that despite the intense rivalry, the political backdrop, there is a fundamental respect for the game and for the improbable achievement of the American team. They knew they'd been beaten fair and square.
But the story doesn't actually end with that game, does it? That was the semifinal. The gold medal wasn't secured yet.
That's right. A crucial point people sometimes forget. They still had to play Finland for the gold.
And it was another nail-biter, another come-from-behind victory. This team wasn't just about one incredible upset. They had true champions' grit right to the very end.
That final game against Finland really underscored their mental toughness and determination. I mean, imagine the emotional high after beating the Soviets. They had to refocus, come down from that cloud, and win again.
And they were trailing in that game, too.
They were. Down 2-1 going into the third period. They had already achieved the unthinkable, but they still had to execute under immense pressure to claim the ultimate prize.
And Mike Eruzione, the captain, inviting all his teammates onto the top step of the podium during the gold medal ceremony.
What a moment. Such a symbol of unity.
That gesture just perfectly symbolized the unity, the team-first mentality that really defined that group. It wasn't about one hero.
Exactly. It was about all of them. That image of all of them together, celebrating that improbable gold, skating around the rink with the flag. It resonated so deeply.
It was more than just a medal. It felt like this surge of pure joy and national pride at a time when, the country maybe really needed a lift.
It truly did. The White House invitation from President Jimmy Carter just underscores the broader significance of that win. It transcended sports.
And the impact continued long after the final horn blew in Lake Placid. As we touched on, several players went on to have successful NHL careers.
Yeah, they proved they belonged at the next level, winning Stanley Cups, earning All-Star honors.
Neil Broughton achieved that rare trifecta winning championships at the college level, NCAA, the professional level, Stanley Cup, and the Olympic level.
Incredible career.
Yeah.
And Ken Morrow had that amazing distinction of winning Olympic gold and then just a few months later hoisting the Stanley Cup with the Islanders in the same year.
Unbelievable. The miracle on ice wasn't just some fleeting moment. It genuinely ignited a passion for hockey in a whole new generation of American players. It showed what was possible.
You see its influence even today. It raised the profile of American hockey significantly.
And even now, decades later, the story continues to inspire, doesn't it? The movies, the documentaries, it's a narrative that gets retold and rewatched constantly.
It really does. It's solidified its place, not just in sports history, but like you said, in the fabric of American culture. It's one of those stories everyone knows.
It's just such a powerful reminder that extraordinary things can happen when a group of individuals comes together with a shared belief and, exceptional leadership like Herb Brooks provided.
Absolutely. They defied expectations, not just through skill, though they had that too, but through unwavering teamwork, resilience, and a coach who instilled in them the absolute conviction that they could achieve the seemingly impossible.
Truly incredible. The story of the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team is just a powerful reminder of the impact of teamwork, belief, and exceptional leadership. It demonstrates how a collection of individuals, united by a common goal and guided by a visionary, can defy expectations and achieve something truly extraordinary, leaving an indelible mark on the world of sports and really beyond.
Well said. A story for the ages.
Thanks for listening to Sportpen.